Good morning. Thanks for waking up with us here on 13 Sunrise on your Wednesday, 6 o'clock. We're glad you could be with us here as we give you a live look over downtown Indianapolis this morning. A very February look over Indiana,
yes,
right?
It does.
We don't really get much difference here when we're just changing from January to February, but today it's rain that we're going to expect.
We'll see some rain a little bit later today. I've been waiting years to see Julie do the hustle. Chuck said that he taught you how to do it, and
She did it. She did it fine.
Yeah,
she did.
Fine.
Sure.
She did. Listen,
I've never seen it. That's
a
saying.
C minus.
Hey, I'll tell you, on my last day, how about we do the hustle?
Okay, we'll think about it.
All right, so you've got 4 months to practice.
Okay.
Well, you want to do the hustle to stay warm a little bit out there this morning because it is cold, but it's not, really unusually cold. It's quiet right now in Tipton. In Tipton, you guys are going to experience some rain during the evening rush hour, as will all of us later on today. And not only is it rain we're talking about, but we're also talking about a mixture of freezing rain and sleet and some light ice accumulation to the north of Indy. I don't think it is going to be a major problem. However, anytime you have sleet or freezing rain, that means slick conditions, and that's not good. So that's why that will have a weather impact. Here's the area we're speaking of, north of Lafayette and north of Kokomo. So Logansport, Peru, Marion, over towards Portland, Indiana, you guys will be under a winter weather advisory tonight through about 10 o'clock tomorrow. However, closer to home, Richmond, Connorsville, Liberty, Brookville, this will be this afternoon, a winter weather advisory because of the prospect of freezing rain and slick roads. There is nothing going on weather-wise in Indiana right now, except it's a little cool, but not unseasonably cold. 31, we'll take that at this time in the morning in early February. 37 in Bedford. The wind chill, though, is 21, so the kids need to wrap up. Later on today, no fog. We've got a wind out there, but we will have winds that bring in some rain and freezing rain later today. Hopefully no freezing rain in the metro area, Lindsay. We'll get up to 35. I think we're in much better shape in Indy than the folks in Lafayette, for instance.
Yeah, and up north, near Fort Wayne and whatnot, that's going to be a little slick as the day plays on. And from a travel standpoint, back here at home, we are seeing some lane restrictions and some ramp closures, but this is due to some overnight construction, which hopefully will wrap up here momentarily. Right now, we still do have the ramp blocked from US 31 northbound. That's onto 465 westbound. So that's been blocked since about 11 o'clock last night, doing some maintenance work. Also, the ramp was blocked onto the 465 westbound direction from US 31 southbound, but at least that's partially reopened, so you can access that ramp. We'll let you know when this all clears out as we go through the morning.
Thank you, Lindsay. Right now, there is a battle brewing in the halls of city government between a counselor and his now former caucus.
Democrats just ousted Jesse Brown from their caucus, meaning he will no longer meet with that group and discuss new or old policies. So now some community members, they want answers about why.
So last night, they flooded a committee meeting to find out why he was pushed out. Matthew Foltz joins us this morning. And Matthew, what are these community members saying and what kind of questions are they asking? Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning, Julia. And Julia, really flat out, they're just upset. They really want to know from city county councilors why Jesse Brown was voted out. Instead, they were met with silence when they showed up here last night hoping for some answers. Now, here's exactly why they're mad and give you a recap on what's happened this week. During Monday night's city county councilors meeting, Democrat Jesse Brown, who represents District 13, announced he was voted out by the Democratic caucus. Brown writes online that the caucus did not give him a reason for his expulsion, but believes his push for transparency and his advocacy for a fully funded public education plan put him at odds with the rest of his colleagues. The caucus sent a statement to 13 News saying that Brown's focus on falsehoods and making accusations do not align with the principles of the caucus. So Tuesday night, dozens of community members in Brown's district packed into a community meeting and said they were ignored. When asked if they believe it was a waste of time, this is what some people had to say. Take a listen.
Absolutely, because they knew what people were here to hear and they denied it. They denied any discussion about it. So the problem is we're not trusting anybody anymore. Everybody's getting looked at with a fine-tooth comb, and everybody's getting raked over the coals because we're done.
And you can hear the frustration right there from some. Now, voters tell 13 News they plan on going to every meeting from now on out, hoping to get some type of response from city councilors. Now, 13 News did reach out to Brown and the Democratic caucus late last night following that meeting for a comment. However, we have yet to hear back. Meanwhile, you'll hear from one councilor who was sitting in that committee meeting and his take on all of this coming up at 6:30. Live in downtown, I'm Matthew Foltz, 13 News.
Thank you, Matthew. This morning, a man is now pleading guilty in connection with a deadly crash north of downtown Indianapolis. Connor Gaskell was driving after a night of drinking at the Bottle Works district in September of 2022. His car hit a Lyft ride at 24th and Delaware. 22-year-old Rashid Kanta was in the back seat of that ride share. He died in that crash. His brother and a friend, as well as the Lyft driver, were all seriously hurt in that crash.
Detectives were able to retrieve the airbag control module from Gaskell's vehicle and learned the vehicle was traveling at a speed of 55 miles per hour at the time of impact. The speed limit for East 24th Street is 30 miles per hour.
Well, he will be sentenced later this month. The victim's family did release a statement after that, saying that the harm caused by Gaskell cannot be measured by any sentence that he serves. This morning, we do have an update on a story that we have been following now for 2 years.
One of the men accused of bringing machine guns into the Castleton Square Mall is changing his plea. Octavius Reed now pleading in the case. He was just 19 when this happened. He will spend 1 year in jail and 3 years of home detention.
Investigators say that he and another young man, Zachary Hunter, had handguns with machine gun conversion devices. And police say that they also had high-capacity magazines and ammunition on them in the mall. This was the day after Christmas in 2023. Hunter, who was 18 at the time, is taking a plea deal for possession of a machine gun. He will learn his sentence later this month.
Well, this morning we have an update on that deadly shooting that happened last year on Christmas Day. A man is now under arrest and charged with murder. Derek McKenzie III is charged in the killing and for unlawful possession of a firearm by a serious violent felon. He's accused of shooting and killing 44-year-old Cedric Cruz at a home near East 46 and Arlington Avenue in Indianapolis. Detectives later identified McKenzie III as the suspect and just arrested him. He's expected to make his initial appearance in court tomorrow morning.
This morning, we are getting an inside look at efforts to curb illegal parties in the city of Indianapolis. Last weekend, IMPD shut down a party with around 200 people in attendance. This was at a banquet hall, inside of the Washington Square Mall. Officers say that they saw several safety concerns, including underage drinking. In fact, police tell us that the flyers for this party said to bring liquor in water bottles. IMPD says the party didn't have the needed permits, and we talked to police about the work that goes into tracking these kinds of situations and putting a stop to them.
Well, we want to see our community continue to engage in wonderful acts, celebrations. Unfortunately, sometimes individuals want to partake in illegal activity, and we're not going to stand for that, and we're going to ensure that things remain safe within the city.
That's Officer Tommy Thompson, who says that police want people to have a good time, but their job is to make sure that they do so while still obeying the law.
Well, 608, a bill targeting spinning and illegal street takeovers, is now out of the Senate and heading to the House. You may recall when we covered this previously, IMPD Chief Chris Bailey asked lawmakers to impose bigger penalties for the people who take their cars and illegally head into the streets and do these kinds of spinning activities. Chief Bailey also told lawmakers when he testified some of those involved in these activities even intentionally led police on dangerous chases. We'll, of course, keep you posted on how this bill fares in the House.
Well, this morning, the principal at a Fort Wayne school is resigning weeks after he and other school leaders were named in a lawsuit. The Fort Wayne South Bend Diocese sent a statement announcing that Scott Krieger would be departing effective Monday. It claims that the decision was, quote, not related to the lawsuit that was filed against Bishop Lewis, against the school. So the suit alleges negligence in handling widespread instances of child exploitation involving female students.
This morning, at least one central Indiana school is still closed because of a precaution of a wave of students and staff getting sick.
Talking about Horizon Christian School, and they say that they are closed after 20% of students called out sick. And now we are learning some new numbers about the amount of people that are getting sick. According to the Marion County Health Department last week, the number of emergency room visits increased by 30% compared to just the week before.
Health officials also say during that time frame, there were as nearly 32% increase of children ages 5 to 17 being treated in emergency departments.
So we talked with a doctor to learn more ways that parents can try and keep their kids safe.
Not just necessarily one symptom, it's like a combination of symptoms that would really point me in the direction we should probably be keeping our kids from school or going to work.
So doctors also recommend, have you heard this before? Washing your hands frequently and trying not to touch your face after touching other surfaces. Maybe that might be a helpful tip, but we hope you know to wash your hands by now. Good morning, Chuck.
It's funny that you do the washing hands leading into me.
I'm just saying, if the shoe fits.
Hey, I had 3 boys. I know what that's like. Well, I'll tell you what, folks, as the kids are headed off to school, just dress them warm. It is going to be cool in the 20s and 30s. Later on today, we've got rain that will move in here as folks are headed into the IU Indianapolis game at the Jungle against Milwaukee. We also could see freezing rain. More on a winter weather advisory in a few minutes.
And this morning, several FBI agents are suing the Department of Justice for demanding thousands of employee files they say illegally. At 6:45, why they worry now there might be retaliation or even termination of their jobs.
Also this morning, only weeks into a ceasefire between Hamas and Israel, and now President Trump says that he has a plan for Gaza. We'll explain his comments and what he plans at 6:15.